Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to another episode of Purdy Amazing People Live from beautiful Southern California with our host, award-winning blues artist and girl about town, Bridget Purdy. Today, Bridget welcomes our guest, Miss
Hello.
Julia Miller
Hey.
from Delmark Records, President and CEO.
Hey.
Welcome to the fray.
How are you doing, Julia? How is it going?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Woo! Let's rock out for a little bit, Julia. Ow! How's everybody doing? It's so good to be here on a Thursday night with Julia Miller. Hey, Julia. Andy, 1 second. I want to make sure that I share this. Is this on your page or my page?
It should be on all of them.
Oh, beautiful. Okay, perfect. Okay, so Julia is here with us today, and she is my special guest. She is the CEO of Delmark Records. Delmark Records. And first of all, thank you for coming on. It's such an honor to have you on here.
Thank you for having me. It's great to be here.
And so I love this story, and probably every time I see you, I'm going to ask you to tell this story. So Julia comes down from breakfast and she says, "What? Tell me the whole story."
Well, this is the sort of mythology narrative that LBO sort of has talked about, because he remembers it this way. Okay, so he remembers me sort of coming down to breakfast and saying, "Well, I've been thinking about Delmark. Do you think it's for sale?" And I think he was like not thinking about, it was just kind of really from left field, and so then it sort of grew into this. Well, she came down from downstairs to breakfast and wanted to buy Delmark. So it kind of is that, but it's also this great narrative, which is fine too.
It's a beautiful story. Like I said before, the amazing thing is, some little girls will dream of going to the ball or Cinderella or the wedding or the special shoes, but you're the freaking president, CEO of Delmark Records. And so now little girls out there and little boys can dream about being the CEO of a record company. And
yeah, it's a huge responsibility, and I'm really happy to be here. And it's a huge job. I didn't really think of it as like a pinnacle,
Sure.
I didn't think about it like that. I thought about it kind of naively as a more creative thing, in terms of, well, let's make music and jam out in the studio. And
that is that's even more awesome, because us creative people, well, I'm putting myself in the loop, I don't know about you, but I work in this creative mode, and my linear brain has to catch up with the creative mode, where I think most people who are non-musicians or artists, they're a little more on the linear mode, where we kind of jump into things and then say, "Oh."
Yeah, I definitely it's like drawing from the right side of the brain or something. You have the left side and the right side, and this was a huge challenge for me, and I've really set myself for the challenge. So there's a part of me that's been the creative my whole life, and I have always set these goals for myself, and I knew was going to be a big one, and I knew I would have to really step up, and I continue to. I still have to. I learn every day, but that's the way it is.
Yeah, that's life. Life is, we're in a constant mode of learning. And that's what I love about good challenges is, setting the goals, because I'm pretty goal oriented myself too, is setting those goals. And it feels great to achieve those goals. After raising my kids, I know you have a 14-year-old as well. After raising my kids, I decided to produce my own album, and come back into the music business. So, goals are really important, and you are definitely my shiro. You're definitely my shiro. Yeah, I feel really blessed that you wanted to come on the show today. And so one of the other things that you and I had talked about previously is, so Delmark is 68 years old.
Yep, it's the 68th year. Yep.
And so we are in a whole new technological phase. I mean, look at us here, we're streaming.
That's right.
And who would have thought that we would have been streaming? And streaming on social media and playing and having people on. And so what kind of changes did you have to make to Delmark, and what sort of things did you guys keep intact? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, well, I always talk about it being a paper business and changing it from a paper business to a digital business. And that's true. Sort of in a nutshell, that's true.
Sure.
But there's still a lot about it that's physical. There's still a lot of paper here.
Yeah.
But running a sort of an old school business with in a paper kind of way is really different. It's a completely different, almost opposite system to running a digital business. And that means, and we keep the physical too. I mean, we still produce LPs. We still do have a gallery space. We still have a warehouse, all that stuff. But just the function of the business is different. You want a tour?
I would love a tour. And then also, if you could just tell us some of the artists too who are on Delmark, because that's pretty doggone historical right there. But I would please take us on a tour. I can't wait.
Yeah, I'm gonna flip the camera around here.
Okay.
And then you're gonna get I'll sort of walk you through. All right. You see do you see the control room now?
I do.
Yeah. So this is the control room for the studio.
What kind of board is that?
I couldn't see the board here.
Okay.
There, and walk out. This is where we do all of our sessions. We've been restoring our tape machine. You can see we have 1-inch tape going on right here.
Woo!
Our 8-track. We just got our nice big Uri speakers redone, so that's really cool. We have these great speakers here that are new, and we're going to have 24 tracks back in. That 24 track is in progress right there, so that's really cool.
Oh, that's cool.
And this 2-track is the ATR 102 is going to be has been used already, so we're really tape friendly, and we're also very digital friendly too. We have our Pro Tools right there, have our old school drum machine. Now we're gonna go out into the hallway. Here's the studio. There's the B3 from Chess. This is our historical B3.
Whoa! This is mind blowing.
Yeah. And we did a little radio session in here for LBO today. We just got a couple of amps redone. I used the Music Man a couple weeks ago, and the Vibrolux has been redone. So I'm gradually working through all of the mics and all of the gear and organizing everything. We're going to hopefully be wireless headphones very soon. Sorry, it's a little dark out here. I should have turned this light on.
And there's the Women of the Blues.
And there's the Women of the Blues. Yep. Here's our gallery space. This gallery space is the Women of the Blues has been here throughout the pandemic. And here's Deetra Farr and Demetria Taylor and Catherine Davis. And this is another great picture of Catherine Davis from Delmark Records. And we we're going to have another photo exhibit in the summer, and then we're going to have a new art exhibit, which I can't announce yet, but it's going to be a very exciting visual art exhibit.
That's exciting.
Yeah, we're going to have 2 exhibits for the rest of the year. The Women of Blues has been here since it's been here about a year now. It's made it through the pandemic, and it's going to be here through the BMAs the first week of June. So
beautiful.
Yeah, these are all of the covers. Delmark ladies up here. There's Demetria, Zora, Sharon Lewis. My office.
This is giving me chills.
This is JB Hutto's suit right there.
Wow.
And there's the back down the dark hallway is the warehouse. So in the warehouse we don't need to go down there now, but there's 190,000 CDs in there. So our goal for this year is, some of those CDs. So I'll walk back to the control room. And here we are.
I mean, that took me back. I started recording when I was really in the business about 9 years old. I started singing when I was 5. But so going back and the tape and getting that right spot and splicing and, I mean, these youngins, they don't even know what a cassette recorder is,
Yeah, well, I taught for 17 years and in the sound department of an art school. And what I did there was basically taught people about antique technology and the studio. And I was also the music teacher for an art school. So a lot of art kids would come in and want to do visual art, and they'd also want to be in a band or write their own songs or, understand how to score things with the computer. Do musical non-abstract stuff with the computer, or abstract stuff too. But so I got into teaching songwriting and song classes. I taught blues a lot. The first thing I would do was teach blues in my song class, because it's following a form rather than just vamping or droning.
Sure.
So, which it sounds really simple, but teaching somebody to follow a form and follow the rhythmic structure as well, the chord changes in the structure, it would blow their minds. So in a good way. So that's what I did for a really long time.
What a great foundation. What a great foundation. I'm still like mind blown. I'm still just still totally mind blown. That is so. I mean, people who are maybe not in the business, it takes a special knowledge and technique in miking the drums to get a particular sound, and then having that go in and to record it. Singers, we use certain mics, and then that goes in. Would you like to describe a little of the process for people who've never been in a recording studio, what the recording process is like?
Well, yeah, for sure. I'd love to talk about that. I want to, when we started on in the control room, and this control room was based off a design by Malcolm Chisholm. So you can't really see it too well now, but it's an octagon. The control room itself, I'm going to sort of go around in a circle. And if you're in here, you can see it better, but it's not a square. So what the board sits in the center, and it's in the center of an octagon. And actually, the control room is the room inside of a room. So the room outside the studio is also not square, and that's then a room inside of this 6,000 square foot warehouse. So it's all built with sound in mind. Because if you had a square box, you get the sounds bouncing off the walls and off the ceiling. You get all sorts of crazy reflections, and it would sound horrible. So this plan was built off the original chess plans in the early 90s when the studio was first put in this location.
Okay, so where was the studio prior to this location?
Well, the business started in St. Louis and then came to Chicago, and there were several different locations, particularly associated with stores. There wasn't a studio associated with the business until the studio in 1991.
Wow.
They used studios, but they partnered with studios. They didn't have their own.
Hang on, Julia. Andy, Julia's voice is kind of making an interesting sound. Is there any way that we can fix that?
It's probably just the internet connection, but
I don't think so.
So,
on my end, it sounds okay.
Yeah, it's just kind of.
I haven't clicking.
Okay,
I haven't heard
the internet connection.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I know that mine is. It wouldn't be mine.
Okay, is it mine? Mine, I'm okay.
Yeah, you're okay.
Both seem to sound.
Okay, now you're okay too, Julia. Okay, perfect. Okay, well, that is totally.
So the studio has a bunch of really great mics, and it has a really historical microphone collection, particularly for voice, but also for recording guitar amps and things like that. We have a really kind of a historical studio that we're working on taking care of and putting back into working order, and also augmenting so that we have the best of the vintage that works with modern technology. So for example, we have our tape, we have our Neotech board. I've been looking at digital boards and also wireless systems for headphones, so that when a singer comes in, then they have a wireless like an in-ear, and so that they can get a really, really nice personal mix that's wireless and really clean, and everything's isolated. So that's getting my dream is to get as many of the cables in the studio room gone from the floor as possible.
That's a great dream to have. And for people who are listening, when the mix is right, in your ears, and the mic is right, or for a guitarist, whatever musician it is, oh my gosh, it's like magic. It makes it easy for us to do our jobs. It makes a huge difference on the quality of the recording. And so of course, us as musicians and producers, we want to bring the very best to you. And so all these words that Julia is saying, it's like, oh, my ears are going, oh, I want to hear this lush sound at Delmark.
Yeah, so for sure. And so we started with, the foundation. That's why we've been working through the tape machines. We redid the board, but the board just takes time, and it takes time and love. You guys got to use it and keep it maintained. And we also redid the B3. We had that completely redone originally for the Soul Message band record that we recorded here in the studio when we were first here. And I'm working now. That's why I was working on the amps and getting them really up to speed. I also cleaned out the whole mic cabinet and really redid everything there. The next thing is probably going to be the drum set. I had looked at the piano, but it's a 1917 Steinway, and so it's great for a lot of things. That would be just kind of getting everything up to its working order and then augmenting it. I've been really kind of obsessing recently about bass recording and drum set recording.
Okay.
And redoing the drum set, not so much. There's a lot of great things about it because it's a classic blues drum set. So I'm not going to I don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. Okay.
Sure.
So I keep all the good things, but I add new things too. That's my philosophy.
Sure. And that's what you prefaced at the beginning when you talked about this is a vintage studio. However, there are some things that are updated,
Yep. And one of the really exciting things is that we're also we have our DVDs, many historical DVD releases that are now streaming audio and high fidelity audio on Qobuz, which is our one of our streaming partners. But we also would love to get those up on a video streaming channel in surround sound. And we have a possibility to do some surround sound mixing and getting a mixing suite, an actual mixing suite going on in the studio, which would be the really modern mixing part. And then keeping the blues studio, the live room, for live sound as it is. That's really what it's intended for. It's a great live room. It's a great blues room.
I could I'm like salivating. Okay, so if you go back and get those other albums, surround sound, will you put them out again? Will you
Yeah, we would. And we would do they are out on DVD, and but not that many people use DVDs anymore. I mean, most people stream. Some people do, but we still sell them, but not that many. A lot of people do like 5.1 on Netflix or 5.1 streaming through a device, however they whatever they choose to do. And so what we need is to keep the studio that we have and also have a modern surround sound mixing suite, which is a very completely different function, much smaller, much more compact. It's designed for surround sound, and then you do your mixing and mastering surround in one place, and you do your your live recording and all your your fun live room stuff in the other place. Because they're two really different things. They're not, you got to do one thing one place and the other thing the other. So there you go. Can get all sorts of synths going on in the mixing suite and sampling, electronic music. We're not opposed.
Yeah, sampling.
I know all those blues people out there are gonna be like,
I know. I don't even really like to say this because I really, in my mind, I think we're really all one. But every now and then, the blues, you know what I'm saying?
I love blues, and also the thing that I love. I'm a blues. There's certain things that I really love. Like my first Delmark record was the Otis Rush, "Cold Day in Hell," and I was like 20 when I bought that record, and I didn't know, I mean, I kind of knew Delmark, but I didn't know. But I was in Chicago, so I was like, Otis Rush, "Cold Day in Hell," great record, an LP, and it also he was, I lived downtown, so I could go see Otis, and I could see him in clubs and listen to him. And so, I didn't make the connection until later about Delmark, but that was something that was really, that kind of thing I was really into. I also played, at Rosa's and jam sessions before I ever knew, professionally about Rosa's. I was much younger, and other jam sessions and things. And I like certain types of historical blues. I mean, I'm a steel string player at heart and a classical guitar player, but I like the big Joe Williams 9-string blues records and those crazy tunings that are like super personal and super noisy. So that kind of blues and the spoken blues that is not, it's kind of strophic, meaning it doesn't have a real form. It just keeps going and tells a story. Those kind of things I love, so anyway, there you go.
Oh my gosh, I could really feel your passion with music and blues and teaching it as a foundation, because one of our goals in the blues industry and the blues business is keeping the blues alive, because it is a great foundation. It is wonderful storytelling. People are singing from their hearts and it's passionate. So you're doing it justice, girl.
Thank you.
You are so doing it justice. So, okay, shall we? Is there anything else you'd like to share about the studio in Delmark?
There's tons of stuff, but it depends on what you want to know. It's nice just to talk with you. And actually, I have to say, Bridget, I really appreciate you asking me to come on, and I really love your positive energy.
Oh,
I appreciate that a lot. And
thank you.
yeah, no, I do. And
Thank
I'm
you.
really an advocate, for people doing what they want to do at whatever point in life they are. And I really giving back the positive energy.
Oh, thank you. Well, I started this because there's so many people at home. We were all at home.
Totally.
We're unable to get out. I've been so blessed to be able to tour and sing all around the world that I wanted people to be able to really have one-on-one with people. The CEO from Delmark, see all the women, with Lynn hanging up in Delmark, go to places where people cannot go. Many of our people who follow the blues, we're all are unable to travel sometimes.
Yeah.
And so this gives a sneak peek into what these places look like. Even when I'm traveling, I try to do that. So anyways, I just was trying to shed some light. I'm not no co-host or talk host. I just wanted
it's
to be able
awesome.
to bring joy to people in their homes and on their screen, because there was so much negativity going on. All that to say, thank you, Julia. So Julia has music because she's also an amazing guitarist. She has some music that she has produced and put out, and her album is entitled Poquito Libre, ¿sí?
It is that's Volcano Radar, and that's so I co-lead that with Elbio Barlari. Yep,
awesome.
That was our release on Delmark in 2018.
Andy, can we play that?
Oh, but of course.
Love it. Well, I heard a little clicking. My apologies.
Yeah, the connection was a little bit, your connection is a little bit,
Andy,
a
can
little
you
bit
do me
rocky,
a huge
but
favor so our listeners can hear? Is there any way that we can put that in the chat so people can go back and listen to it
you
as
could put
well?
you could put the YouTube
Yes,
this YouTube video. You could put that in the chat, and then people could listen to it.
Okay, that would be great if we
Yeah.
could do that. Can we do that, Andy?
It will forever be on the Sly Guy Radio YouTube channel.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. That was amazing. That was absolutely amazing. Tell me all about it. Tell me your inspiration. Tell me who's playing on it. I want to know. I want to know.
Well, that record, the featured artist on that record is Paquito de Rivera, who's the lead artist on that song and the namesake of the record, and he's an historical living, legendary Cuban musician, lives in America, and he came.
Beautiful.
We were very, very, very graciously came to guest on our record.
Wow.
That's it's myself and Elbio. The drummer was Ernie Adams, and the bass player was Rollo Radford, who was a historical bass player as well. Still is a historical bass player. So we did this in a couple of sessions, some freely improvised and some sort of tunes that we had done in other times, and then brought and worked out in the studio. But it's a very studio-based album. And Paquito, this was a huge change for him, and he was really up. He was very, very, very up for coming and trying it, and it was amazing to work with him. So I play guitar synth, and bass on different tracks. And
you played bass too. Wow.
String, winds, guitars and winds. Bandonian, he plays bass on one track too. So it's kind of an avant jazz record, and it's it was our release in 2018, and it's one release of a ton of music that we would really like to get out and released, and many different projects that we do collaboratively with other musicians, both composed and improvised, because we're both composers. We both write songs, write instrumental music. We do a lot with electronics besides the studio. So we like the collaborative projects, and that's what we do.
Yeah.
So well, it's different than the blues in a way, but it's not, because it's a jam,
Yeah, and that that's very traditional in the blues genre, is to jam. And in jazz, there's a lot of improvisation happening, and then it's beautiful and it's amazing. It's
Thanks.
beautiful, amazing. So if people would like to get this record, where can they find it?
Delmark.com. Volcano
Okay. Woo-hoo. Just checking. Checking.
And it's all, you can stream it. You can find it on it's up on any streaming service that you like to use, or YouTube.
I also would like to ask you about your Airplay Direct Innovative Award.
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
Thanks. That's a business award for digital innovation. So that's recognizing me as a female CEO of a historical business and taking the business into the digital era. So now one of the things that we have done in the 2.5, almost 3 years that we've been here is bring Delmark from about 1,000 tracks online to more than 12,000. So there are currently almost 12,000 tunes and tracks and songs on Delmark available on different streaming services. And Airplay Direct is a service that is specifically for radios and DJs, and radios and DJs can sign up for free and have access to the songs for radio airplay and streaming airplay.
I use Airplay Direct.
Yeah, they're awesome people. Really,
they are awesome.
Yeah, and especially for Delmark and the Delmark catalog, it's a really perfect outlet for us. So it's worked really well. And another really great, strong woman heading Airplay Direct with her partner Linda Weingartz, and she's very supportive and really positive. So I like to be around people with really good vibes and positive vibes and supportive women. That's what I look for. So
yeah, I mean, because you know what, you get to a certain place in your life and time is short.
That's right.
And you realize this is my circle, and this circle creates a ripple effect.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what we do, what we say, what we put out, who we interact with, it just starts with one little positive interaction, and it can make a beautiful ripple effect on a lot of people. So yeah. I hear you on that.
Yeah, for sure. And also having more fun. I'm going to give a shout out right now to Delmark artist Johnny Iguana, who gave me the advice that it's always good to have fun, and he's very good at having fun. And I told him that those were wise words, and it's true. He's a very wise dude, and I'm wishing that he and all the Delmark artists have a lot more fun this year than we've had.
I vote for fun.
Yeah,
we didn't have such fun in 2020. Such fun, seriously. And so, life is for the living, life is for the loving. So I'm with Johnny. Johnny, I'm all for fun. Let's have some more fun.
Yeah. And then there's Jimmy Johnson too. Every Day of Your Life. Both those guys are up for BMA awards, and they deserve it, man. Those are two great dudes. Like they're living right. So there you go.
Now, have they closed the voting, or is it still open?
It's closed. The awards are
July.
The awards are in June.
Oh, June. I thought it was July.
Virtually.
Okay.
No, I think it's the first week of June, virtually.
Okay.
Sure. Unless you know something I don't.
No, I don't. And that's what I was asking. Well, this has been amazing. I'm totally floored, totally inspired. I'm ready to. You've inspired me to set higher goals.
Great.
You've inspired me to set higher goals. I'm going to meditate on it. I'm going to pray on it. And, I love a good challenge. So you and not just me, forget about me. You people watching, take what Julia said today, regardless of where you are in your life, regardless of what you are doing now. Live that dream. Make those goals, set those goals. All things are possible. All things are possible. Julia is a prime example. At 20 years old, she was buying Otis Rush CD from Delmark, and now she's
LB, Bridget.
Oh, what?
That's okay. You're right. You're right.
And look at her now. All things are possible. You can do it. Live those dreams. Breathe life in it. And you know, if it seems too huge, just really take one step at a time. And before you know it, all those steps multiply, and you'll be where you want to be, just one step at a time. So this is what I always say, don't ever give up on you.
That's right.
So thank you so much for coming on. Is there anything else you'd like to say before we go?
Just thanks a lot. And I wish you the best, and I hope to see you in person very soon.
I would love to. I'm going to be in Memphis May 9th at the Orpheum, and I'm the headliner on Sunday. Bobby Rush is the headliner on Friday night. So you all, if you can, come down. It's the birth of soul music. My song Lucille is premiering in a movie, The Birth of Soul, and it's all talking about history. It's all about the history of all of the legends that came through Memphis and the music. So we'll be signing off, and I'm going to give you a virtual hug. Julia, thank you so much for coming on, and say hello to all my Chicago peeps, okay?
Okay.
Thank you all for dropping by. It's been such an amazing evening. We're going to play my song Memphis Hotline, and we'll see you guys real soon.
Okay. Thanks a lot.
Come on, drop it like it's hot. Bus rolling to Memphis, shuffling my walk. Full moon over midnight, you can hear the city talk. We got a hotline. We got a hotline. Born in another city, but you can't get Memphis out your mind. BB King and Union, 2nd Street and Bill, WC Handy, and the Blue No Bar and Grill. We got a hotline. We got a hotline. Born in another city, but you can't get Memphis out your mind. Make it greasy like.
Woo!
Hey, there you guys are.